Hi, Jade here from Coordinated Minds, and this video is an emergency. I am calling all Year 11 students, Year 12 students and Year 13 students with exams coming up in summer. I'm going to break down each one of these methods I'm going to talk about in full in separate videos, but I get you guys have not got time to wait for me. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of the study tools you should be using when studying science, revising science specifically. These can roll over into other subjects, but I'm going to be talking about science because that's what I know, right? Okay, so let's get straight to it. Some general points. 1. You should have a timetable by now, right? I know, everyone tells you it, but those of you that say, I don't need a timetable, I don't need one, I know what I'm doing, I just study when I got free time. No, right? The problem with that is you study what you like and not what you need. You need to study what you need. Does that make sense? You need to make sure you're covering the whole of your syllabus. So have a timetable, break down your subjects, make sure you're covering everything. Breaking down your subjects is the most important thing. I did a video of this. I'll put the information somewhere up here in my Christmas study calendar. I'll make a longer video on how to make one because I think you guys definitely need it. But make a start, right? Make a timetable. That's the best place to start. Number 2. I spoke about this already. This is Pomodoro. I have a whole video on this. You need to get with this technique. This is for all you procrastinators out there. For all of you that fall asleep at your desks while you're studying, right? This is for all you guys. And I actually managed to upload a 20-minute timer for you guys. So actually, one thing I found has really worked for my students is hearing the tick. Right? That aids concentration. It makes you less likely to procrastinate because you can feel the passing of time. So I will send a link for that one and the video I made about the technique somewhere up in the corner. Right, the next bit. You guys are still working through your syllabus at school. So you kind of want to take a double-pronged approach. You want to be revising the stuff that you've done already, but you also want to be making sure you're a little bit ahead of what you've still got left to do. Read ahead of class. Find out what the classes are going to be about and read your textbook before the class. Make some rudimentary notes. If there are keywords that you need to know, if there are equations you need to know, if there are concepts you need to know, it really gives you a head start if you read ahead before the teacher actually goes through it. So those are all the general tips. Now let's get specific. Just for science. But this is kind of applicable for other subjects as well. Right, mind maps. Again, I've gone through this in another video, probably at Christmas. I'll stick the link somewhere. But mind maps is a much better way of note taking. And some people call them concept maps, some people call them brainstorming. I don't care what you call it. It's just a pictorial way of getting your information on the page. This is what I was talking about in one of my other videos, active versus passive. You want to look at your subject as a whole, and this works especially good for science. Look at the whole chapter. There are bits at the beginning of the chapter that link to bits of the end of the chapter, and you need to see those links. So instead of just parrot fashion copying out the textbook to write your notes or to memorize, look at the chapter as a whole. Find the links. Put them on your mind map. This is you reprocessing the information in a different way. The more you reprocess information differently, the easier it is for your brain to remember it. Okay? So mind maps. Now, number 2, I forget what number we're on, flashcard. Flashcards! You know I love a flashcard. Flashcards I use very specifically though. I don't use flashcards for concepts, right? Concepts I mind map for. I don't use flashcards for process. Process I mind list for. So I have a title, I put how many points are in my subject, and then I have a list according to that number of points. Mind maps are for facts that you need to learn rote, off by heart, no explanation needed. tests like Benedict's test, protein test, Burette test, right? Equations, definitions. These are things for flashcards. Again, I'll put a link to a terrible video I've done about it. Hopefully I'll do a better one soon, but for my 3-pile system of flashcards, because that's the best, most effective way of doing them. But they are amazing for science because there's a lot of equations, there are a lot of tests, and there are a lot of definitions that you have to just know, right? Okay, next, blank paper. A bit like a blank face, but a blank piece of paper. You're thinking, what the hell are you going to do with the blank piece of paper? I'll tell you. Take your flashcards, not your flashcards, your mind maps. Take your mind maps, take your textbook, take whatever your note forming way is, right? So say if you decided no to the flashcard and no to the mind map, then take whatever notes you're making. Look at the title, cover it. Take your blank piece of paper, write everything you know about that subject. Do it Pomodoro style, so take 20 minutes. Have the ticking timer going in the background to kind of force that concentration. Find out what you know. This is so important because if you don't know what you know, you don't know what you don't know, right? And if you don't know what you don't know, you're kind of scuppered for the test because most people just revise the things that they know, right? Because they like them, because they know them. So, mind maps, flashcards, blank piece of paper. Again, I have a Christmas video for blank piece of paper. I need to explain it fully in a further one, but for your reference, it's up there or up there, wherever it goes. Last, past papers. Oh Lord, how important are these for science? It's unreal. You could know your textbook back to front and inside out and still not get a good grade if you haven't practiced the past papers. For science, this is crazy important. They want you to write your answers in a specific way and you really need to practice that. So from about, I'd say March onwards, I just do past papers exclusively. I try and learn everything from January to March, and from March onwards is past papers. You want to do the past papers, then more importantly, you want to mark them yourself, right? And then you want to go through your mark scheme and write a model answer. I don't care if it's a 1 marker or a 3 marker from the mark scheme. That doesn't mean copying from the mark scheme, right? That means taking the key word from the mark scheme and using it to formulate your answer in your words. Then, if possible, have a look at the examiner's report. That will tell you where students from that year went wrong, and if you know where they went wrong, you're less likely to make the same mistake. For questions that are slightly ambiguous, and I'm not even going to kid you, there are a lot of them, you can see what they're trying to ask you, how they're trying to push you in the right sort of direction. So let's recap, real brief. General, timetable, Pomodoro, reading ahead of class, right? Generals, yeah? Specifics, mind maps, flashcards, blank paper, and past papers, right? Those are the things that are going to help you the most in science. Of course, you can do group work, you can be teaching your mates, you can do all those other active methods that I've spoken about in another video, somewhere up here, right? But this is for those emergency students. Sometimes you don't have a chance to do everything. So you just want to concentrate on a couple of techniques and do them well. Follow through with them. Mind mapping takes time to master, but it's worth mastering. And you still have enough time to get that going. So really hone in. Every time you do it, it'll get quicker, right? So really hone in on these techniques and you will find the science exam breeze. I forgot to say, subscribe, send me a comment, see what you need me to talk about and then put it in the comments and I will talk about it. This video was inspired by a Reddit person online that asked me the question and I said I would make a video just for them. So if you guys have got any questions for me, I will make videos specifically for you. This is Jade, Coordinated Minds. This is Jade. I hate talking about myself in the third person. I am Jade, Coordinated Minds. Study like a boss.